Former President Donald Trump set to be arraigned at 3 p.m. local time down in Miami on federal charges dealing with classified records and obstruction of justice. 37 charges altogether. If you stacked all of them up, it would be hundreds of years in prison if he's convicted. So this is obviously a huge turning point in the history of this country. And of course, we heard about the looming charges that ultimately were unsealed from the former president. He took to social media and announced that he expects to be indicted by the federal grand jury. And you have the Department of Justice with the special prosecutor laying out that indictment and all the detail that goes with it. So Trump is going to be arraigned today in federal court in Miami later on this afternoon. He apparently also is going to give some kind of public address later tonight, so we'll see what that's all about. But the former president wrote on his Truth Social account, "I hope the entire country is watching what the radical left are doing to America, and we all stand for all of what we stand for." He goes on to say, "We must all be strong and defeat the communist, Marxist, and radical left lunatics that are systemically destroying our country. Make America great again," he wrote. So obviously, the former president has a lot of passion as to being faced with federal criminal charges. And you can imagine as well, they're fortifying security around the courthouse with Trump supporters arriving. Who knows if there's going to be any antagonists or possibly provocateurs, which I think is important for everybody in that situation to remain safe and cognizant and keep your eyes open. So it'll be a pretty tense situation down there in Miami. That's going to dominate a lot of news. Now, we heard about the indictment from the former president on the same day last week that it was revealed an FBI document about an informant who had information about the Bidens taking bribes from Ukraine oligarchs. And of course, now we're getting even more detail about this. And we've heard a lot about the Hunter Biden laptop and all the pictures of, Hunter Biden's, indiscretions from illicit drug use to, prostitution. But it was never really about all the scandalous stuff Hunter Biden was involved there. It was more about Hunter Biden's business dealings and how Joe Biden is wrapped up in that and how the Biden family is wrapped up in that by taking money from foreign companies or foreign countries and then divvying it up amongst the Biden family. Those are the allegations here. But Senator Chuck Grassley took to the Senate floor yesterday and revealed even more information about what this FBI document purportedly has. And here is Grassley laying out some rather fascinating details, but also highlighting a double standard of justice here in this country.
That the foreign national who allegedly bribed Joe and Hunter Biden allegedly has audio recordings of his conversation with them. 17 such recordings. According to the 1023, the foreign national possesses 15 audio recordings of phone calls between him and Hunter Biden. According to the 1023, the foreign national possesses 2 audio recordings of phone calls between him and then Vice President Joe Biden. These recordings were allegedly kept as a sort of insurance policy for the foreign national in case that he got into a tight spot. The 1023 also indicates that then Vice President Joe Biden may have been involved in bereavement employing Hunter Biden. Based on the facts known to the Congress and the public, it's clear that the Justice Department, the FBI, haven't nearly had the same laser focus on the Biden family. Special Counsel Jack Smith has used a recording against former President Trump. Well, what is U.S. Attorney Weiss doing with respect to these alleged Joe and Hunter Biden recordings that are apparently relevant to the high-stakes bribery scheme? Getting a full and complete 1023 is critical for the American people to know and understand the true nature of the document and to hold the Justice Department and the FBI accountable. It's also important for asserting constitutional congressional oversight powers against an out-of-control executive branch, obviously drunk with political infection. Remember, Congress has received 1023s in the past, and they've been made public. So asking for this 1023 to be turned over to the American people to read is not an unusual thing that goes on with 1023s.
So that's, again, Chuck Grassley sharing some detail about an FBI document of an informant. Has knowledge of recordings between some Biden family members, including the vice president and Hunter Biden, and some bad actors out of Ukraine when it comes to bribery and so on. So this all seems to go back to that, tape of Joe Biden talking about how, hey, if you don't fire this prosecutor, then, you're not getting the $1 billion. And you've got the former vice president making that comment in front of the Council on Foreign Relations, and even the former President Trump talking with Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky about how they need to further investigate this. So is that going to be further investigated by U.S. officials, or are we just, going to focus on the former president heading into the 2024 election? We'll take a quick call here before we take a break, but good morning. You're on WMAY.
Good morning, Greg.
Hey.
I think that one of the things that sums this up in general is, Trump's driving 57 in a 55. Biden and other people are driving 77 in a 55. And it's just they hate him so much that he's getting the ticket every time, regardless of what's going on. And everybody's seeing the details that you just talked about, that you just played. People are just they hate him so much, they don't care about facts anymore. I don't think anybody's changing their mind anymore like they used to. People just aren't willing to listen, mainly because they've been told, if you disagree with this, then you need to be censored or blocked or, blacked out, shut down, whatever. They've done such a good job of controlling those narratives to the point where you can't have discussions and present facts and say, you know what, you might be wrong about this. There's just so much dislike and hate towards this guy and just conservative ideas in general that nobody's willing to have those discussions and maybe entertain the facts could point in the other direction.
Well, and it's not just the facts could point in the other direction. It's the double standard here that we have. It's the Department of Justice, going after in full force and effect, and other, even state prosecutors, full force and effect against, Donald Trump, or January 6th. People, the guy who put his foot on the desk of Nancy Pelosi's office, getting 4.5 years or something like that, while you've got some really bad actors in Congress, insider trading, sleeping with foreign spies, having foreign spies be their driver, the former vice president allegedly taking bribes from Burisma, and his son gallivanting around the world to taking money for 10% to the big guy, complaining to his daughter that he has to give half of his money to his father. These things, of course, they highlight, I think, a double standard, and whether or not people are willing to accept that or to see it for what it is and to address it for what it is, that is yet to be seen. We'll see what happens in the wash when it comes to the 2024 election. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on WMA.